Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, all in crypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another daily cryptocurrency market update. This is going to be a jam-packed one, and we've got some absolutely colossal news to go over. We're going to start things off by looking at the Bitcoin chart, talking a little bit about what we were talking about yesterday, about us being very uncertain in regards to the short term, a matter of weeks, potentially up to a month, in regards to the direction of Bitcoin. So the immediate direction of Bitcoin and crypto at large. There was a few worrying things. Price is very placid. There's no excitement there. And ultimately, we've got a lot going on this week with non-farm payroll. We've got ADPs today. We're seeing a little bit of dollar strength. The stock market could be due for a pullback. A number of things that lead us to be cautious here on the short term. Investment part, however, we are still very bullish. You know, we absolutely assess and have been assessing that the downtrend is over for Bitcoin and crypto generally. I don't think you're going to new all-time lows or anything like that, or even going to revisit the lows. You know, we were just maybe calling for a bit more of a drop here before you see that continuation. 30K has proven to be a worthy adversary. You will take it, though, eventually. We had huge news in regards to the sort of traditional financial markets, with Fitch downgrading US long-term rating to AA+ from AAA. So Yellen recently came out and said that she disagrees with this. Oops, United States downgraded to AA+ from AA by Fitch. Outlook stable, citing fiscal deterioration, high and growing government debt burden, and erosion of government related to AA and AA+ rated peers over the last 2 decades. That has manifested in repeat debt limit standoffs and last-minute resolutions. So we know debt has climbed 1 point something trillion since they actually upped the debt ceiling. You guys know my stance on the Great Reset, the Great Financial Reset, how that comes into play. I ultimately think it's going to be a debt failure. And in the similar way that the gold wasn't there to back the actual amount of money that was out there, similar thing will take place with debt and money. You know, this is how money evolves, and blockchain is going to be at the forefront of it. You know, that's our true belief on the kind of Great Reset and everything like that. So this was interesting. This saw a little bit of a dollar weakness, and this saw this reaction from Bitcoin. Now, yesterday we were saying, okay, guys, maybe expect a little bit more downside before we see that upside, and it could go on for a couple of weeks, so on and so forth. Still somewhat almost leaning towards that. However, it's a very uncertain call. Not certain here at all. What I am certain about is that we are at a great point for Bitcoin and crypto, and you're talking about a matter of percent here. You're not talking about new lows and getting wrecked in regards to the crypto space. Just talking about maybe a short-term pullback before we see that upside. Still not certain of that. And we did say, let the market show us and direct us, and let's look at levels where if it takes this, it goes higher. If it takes this, it goes lower. That's kind of what you have to do. It's always very, and I have to be honest when I'm unsure on the short term, and I'm there right now. You know, I could see just as much merit for downside, and I could also see the market showing strength. And I think one real market to watch is the dollar. You know, this has been significantly more strong than I had anticipated. The question is what's coming this week? How is that going to affect? You've got ADPs today. And then I think you've got non-farm payroll at 1:30 p.m. UK time on Friday. It's definitely going to have an effect on our dollar, definitely going to have an effect on the crypto space with the downgrading rate, and the gold seeing a little bit of an uptick. Again, I can't help but wonder that the stock market, which has performed exactly as we've expected it to, you know, we should be called all in stocks because we've been killing these calls and predictions, even made it home on some of our predictions. This is still, I think, looking like it wants to take a bit more of a rest. Maybe the smaller stocks perform better. You know, you got things like Roku that we've been very right on. I just think you got to be cautious here. You know, again, this is taking a bit of a pullback in regards to crypto at 30K. But then again, there could be some sort of news that comes out. This is where we have to be humble and say short term, we're not really sure. Long term, we're still very, very bullish. Mid to long term, I should say. Short term, we're only talking a matter of weeks, not necessarily even months. You know, this month, maybe into September before things maybe pick up again and we get that sort of volume and put that we need. But we will see. So this was certainly interesting. Again, please go and watch my Great Reset video. It's a really good video. Me explaining my thoughts on how I think the Great Reset and money itself morphs and why it does. talking about why we're very confident in the long-term projection. Another reason we were worried here was because, of course, the lawsuit against Richard Hart. Usually the SEC is going to have a real bee in their bonnet in regards to Ripple winning their lawsuit. The retaliation is something to watch, and I can't help but feel like they are going to go forward with it. Talking about why we are bullish, I want to highlight this again. And actually, I had an amazing chat with my community yesterday. If you want to join the community, please do consider checking out the Patreon. Amazing group of people. It's helpful for me to get on and voice my opinions with everyone, and for us to look at what we're doing in terms of our investments. I share my portfolio there, and we talk about it regularly, and we try and play this market as best we can. And I think we've been doing a good job. I think there's always going to be times of being uneasy, and there's always going to be times of being ecstatic. And this is a sort of transition period again from bear into bull, and you get this kind of basing stage one, moving into stage two, which I think we're sort of very much setting up for. Could take a little bit longer than expected though. But one reason that we're bullish, you can see that MicroStrategy has raised $750 million to buy more Bitcoin. He's not stopping. You've got to give Michael Saylor, even though I think it's super cringe, a lot of the tweets that he puts out, credit where it's due. He is the diamond hand. And if you look at the top owners of MicroStrategy, you've got Vanguard Group, you've got Fidelity, you've got BlackRock, you've got Investco, you've got Morgan Stanley. Are these individuals the largest institutions in the world buying MicroStrategy because they love Michael Saylor and they think it's a great company? No, they're buying it for the Bitcoin exposure. Why would they be so long Bitcoin if they thought that this market was going to plummet into oblivion? I do not think that's the case. So we're still unsure short term, matter of weeks. Mid to long term, very, very bullish and optimistic. How you play that is really up to you guys. Certainly interesting. Also, we got Tether has acquired $176 million in Bitcoin since March the 31st. Very, very interesting what's going on here. And then the last little thing to talk about, because this is on the horizon, guys, is the UN is unveiling plans for digital euro, promising complete privacy. So they're looking to implement ZK rollups for this, zero knowledge proofs. It's going to be interesting. Can you offer complete privacy? Well, perhaps. But there are ways on the making something zero knowledge, unless you embed it into the actual infrastructure itself. A lot of it's almost like a bridge to turn something into a ZK rollup, a zero knowledge proof. There are ways maybe you could track the facilitating of that, and thus the accounts that are interacting with it. But we will see. So there's lots of interesting things going on. I don't think people need to panic. Yes, we sort of said, interesting, not really sure what's going on here. A number of things that sort of make me lean towards being a little bit more bearish short term than bullish. But it's not one of those high conviction calls at all. And I think at times like that in the markets, you need to treat them with humility and say, let's see what happens. Let's not try and predict the future, which you guys know, of course, we are in the business of. I don't really know if there's much to get from Bitcoin's sort of smaller structure, other than it's very similar to this, right? And it could lead to a similar outcome. And this could be the sort of, maybe it comes a little bit lower and then you get that projectile to the upside. I don't really know, What can we even take from this? Have we got something like this at play? Let's bend the charts with sort of like the last airbender. I'll say something else then. Have you got something like this at play? Maybe. I don't really know. And is that a break on volume on the small term time frames that's going to lead to upside? It could be. But we will see. It's all to play for, guys. So on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. It's going to be a busy week. Let's see how. Let's let the market show us its hand on the short term, and then we'll go with that rather than trying to sort of preempt it when we're uncertain. Mid to long term, guys. it's, the bull is here basically. And I really do believe that. And certainly the stock market's been leading the way for that. But what that chooses to do now is going to be very interesting. Lots of indecision here. Again, big data coming out with the ADPs, interesting things coming out of the sort of traditional financial world and the crypto space. Always so much going on. We're going to help you try and keep up to date with them on this channel. If you enjoy the content, like, appreciate it. So as a comment, don't forget to check out the Patreon. See you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next.